Well, welcome back to the T and Moss Pod, episode 2. Finally getting it going, Not finally past that first intro. I'm Moss Bros 24. By the time you're listening to this, our first episode will be out on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We're working on getting the other podcast networks. That'll come once we figure out the hosting website stuff.
Well, I'm T, the other part of the Moth and T podcast. Like Moth said, this is video 2. Video 1 will be already out on all the different platforms, everything. So we're very excited to get started here. I mean, consistency is key. I'm a huge fan of that. That's all I have for now.
What's good, guys? It's JRinkz again. We're just chilling on this beautiful Saturday morning, and we're ready to get things going.
All right. Well, just so everyone knows what the plan is for at least today, we're going to kind of go through T's backstory, kind of his upbringing, journey into content creation, into where he's at now, and then future plans. This will be kind of his backstory episode, his origin story. And then we'll go through next week, and then the following week we'll do mine and JRinkz's origin stories. So that way you can get to know us a little bit more.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. So if it's going to be a lot of T's talking today, so I hope you're prepared to listen to his beautiful voice. He's a big talker.
Sexy voice.
It's also a big walker.
Just kind of start with your backstory, huh?
My backstory. Okay.
As far back as you're willing to go.
Okay, so how I got into gaming. So I was about maybe 11 when I kind of got introduced to gaming. My brothers, they actually showed me RuneScape when I was about 11 or 12. And I'm telling you, I started playing, not a clue what I was doing. And for those that played RuneScape, if you go back to that feeling when you join a new game and you're not like looking to do much, you're just looking to hang out with your friends that you meet, right? We'd run around and do the most basic shit, like not getting experience now. Now that I'm older, like that's all I want to do is get the experience. But anyway, so played RuneScape for a couple years, and then my big gaming got into when my brother, I came home from school and him and his friend were playing Call of Duty World at War on the Wii. That, oh my gosh, guys, that was the game that hooked me into gaming. I remember playing for hours a day. I would want to stay home from school to play. I would literally miss assignments to play. Like it was an addiction. I was 13 probably, and I had that like Wii gun.
Multiplayer.
I did the whole campaign on veteran and then multiplayer. I didn't really play zombies on the Wii because it wasn't that, I don't know, it was too glitchy.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I would have like this playlist for multiplayer that was like 7 songs. And whenever any of those songs come on, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm drop shotting noobs. I'm like getting dogs. I'm telling you, I was a sweaty kid in World at War, or in the World at War on the Wii. Like there's so many glitches, right? So basically you could jump and hide in roofs. You could go underground. I had a flamethrower at level 4. It was all in the game. So I mean, I didn't hack or anything. It was like my guy got glitched out. I don't know. But the MP40 was the best gun ever in Call of Duty, by the way. So that lasted for about 3 years. I got max prestige, like 10 prestige or whatever. But then all of a sudden, Modern Warfare 2 came out, got an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it all started again.
Life changed.
Literally, I was a quick scoping master, all that fun stuff. And then after Modern Warfare 2, I played Call of Duty for the next 3 to 5 years. I played Black Ops 1, 2, 3, 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I played the original Modern Warfare. It's just kind of crazy looking back how many like Call of Duty games I have. And now that I don't play them anymore, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but it's kind of crazy how many hours and everything spent in those games. So growing up though, I the reason that I kind of stopped gaming for a while, not many people know this, I was kind of bullied in school. I got called Tubby Tom a lot because I was like big for my size when I was younger. But then over time, I kind of got over it. But basically, kind of my backstory. Now I just kind of play whatever I find fun. I don't force myself to really play games that if I'm not having a good time, it's just not fun for me. But after Call of Duty, I switched into League of Legends. Now that game, everyone knows, most people know about League of Legends, but that game took a lot of my free time. A lot of my free time. I was never very good. I thought I was good. I blamed everybody for all the mistakes and everything. I mean, I'm the best, right? No, I'm not the best.
Exactly.
I was an 80 carry main. Play a lot of Ashe and Ezreal, and then the League. I mean, Riot knows what they're doing as a company. Just kidding, they don't. But I think they don't, because they ruin all my champions. It's like, you find a character you really like, and the next thing you know, all their spells are changed. You're like, okay,
Aatrox,
that's cool.
my boy.
Aatrox, Scion, Green Scion. I'm telling you, if you don't know Green Scion, look him up. Boss legend, gone, never forgotten. And then after that, I played League of Legends probably since I was 16, kind of around 21. Then I quit. Oh man, I broke that chain. I'm just saying, if you guys play League of Legends, it's a great game, but I bet you're angry all the time. There's no way you're not. There's no way you're not. I'm to be 100% honest. You're probably angry. You don't play for fun because you get angry. When you play one game and you're just like, why am I playing this? The next thing you know, you're playing 15 more. Doesn't make any sense. But then now I kind of just hang out and chill. I'm more of a relaxed gamer. I play like Dead by Daylight, RuneScape still. Just more chill games. Kind of my backstory. But I did write my first gamer tag down ever. But yeah, it's Wicked Kill, all caps besides one lowercase I.
With leads.
The reason is, man, there's some. I remember, how in Search and Destroy you can hear like the other people they talk when you kill them.
Yeah.
So I think I was on my brother's account before I had an account, because I didn't know I didn't have my own account. I was just playing on his account. And this guy's like, Wicked Kill, bro. I was like, that's me. There it is. That's how that came to be. I was like,
nice.
that's it. I was, like, the way he said it, I was like, dude, this is me now. And that was my Xbox gamer tag. I never changed it. That was my whole, probably still is if I logged back in. But yeah, that's kind of my backstory with gaming. For video games anyways. Lots of first person shooter and click games.
I mean, I guess if you want to explain kind of your current gamer tag backstory, that's something else we can have.
So my current gamer tag, so I go by VTZ in a lot of things. It used to be TZ3 with an underscore, but I hated having a number and an underscore in my name for whatever reason. I just don't like it. I just it looks weird to me. So I switched over to the TZ. So my initials are TZ. And then they just all rhymes. That's pretty much, I was like, that sounds kind of cool, I guess. Because everything else, like, you can't just have TZ because that's taken, or all other forms of it are taken. So it's just a bunch of E's and.
What are the odds
two
that
T's and a
the
Z.
TZ is taken?
It's taken. I tried.
Oh.
I was like, the TZ. And then I was like, wait a minute, the rhymes. So I was like, the TZ, let's go. That's kind of how that came. Yeah, basically my initials. I think I thought about that because I listened to a lot of NF, and NF is his initials. So I was like, what can I do with TZ? And that's kind of how that came to be, anyways.
Nice. And I get the whole not having a number thing. That is something very good for branding that people always say. I don't think I'll ever remove the number because I'm so big into sports and sports gaming. Having a number when it comes to sports is kind of huge. So that's just...
Well, absolutely. If it's like, I mean, mine was just a 3 underscore. I was like, that's got to go.
Why did you decide to get into content creation / streaming, and now YouTube, and now this podcast?
So it goes back to when I kind of wish I started earlier when I was like 14, because I honestly, if I knew what streaming was, I was 14, I'd probably still be playing Call of Duty. Like, I'm not lying. Like, I don't like to like brag or anything, but I was actually pretty good at Modern Warfare 2. I mean, I was getting nukes a lot. Like, it was.
You won me on Rust.
Let's set it up right now. Let's do it. We'll close out right now. That's what. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I didn't start content creation probably to like about 2.5, 3 years ago. So, for a while, I don't know, I kind of got that feeling of being stuck because, when you look at, I hate games that show you your playtime because then you're kind of like, holy crap, like I've been spending way too much time on this game, like whatever. And then I just don't want to play it anymore. That's kind of how what happened to me. And then, your people around you're like, hey, what do you want to do with your life? You're at like 17, 18. You're like, I don't really know. Like, what do you mean? Like, well, you need to focus on this and that and get a good grades and go to high school or college and all that stuff. So you're kind of like that's what everyone was telling me to do. And that's what my friends were doing. So I'm like, how can I kind of slowly stopped playing video games for a while because I thought like, hey, this is getting like, it almost was weird because it was like, it's my biggest hobby, right? It's my biggest hobby, but I have people telling me it's a waste of time. Like I'm not going like doing anything with my life. I'm like, I'm 17, 18. I'm like, I'm still young. Like I have a whole lot of years to figure that out. And then all of a sudden, that's what kind of when Twitch became a thing, right? I don't know how long Twitch has been out, but like pretty popular. And it was, so I started watching, honestly, I think the first person I ever watched was Tyler One for League of Legends, I believe. And then I kind of jumped around. I watched like Tim, now it's like Tim Tatman, Dr. Disrespect. I watched quite a bit of Ninja, but I wasn't a big fan of Fortnite. I never really got into Fortnite.
Oof, missed out.
Well, I'm just saying I was never good. I was never good at Fortnite because if it was first person, I think it'd be different. But I just, for some reason, the building, I don't know. When I started, it was season 2 or 3. And I was like, okay, this guy just built a hotel in 2 seconds. I can't even figure out how to build a ramp.
Yeah.
So it's like, he just jumped down and I'm like, okay.
And what you think used to be a hotel compared to now is...
Well, right.
They probably
but
built
it was
2
like a pretty...
stories up and you're just like, oh my gosh.
They have their own personal bathrooms. Like, so I took a little bit of break from video games. Honestly, because I thought that's what it was supposed to do. And then I come back like in college, it's like, dude, I have so much free time. Like all I want to do is play video games. So I regret playing as much video games in college as I did a little bit. I mean, I could have went out and have hung out with a few friends a little bit more, but I had more fun doing what I wanted to do, But I didn't start live streaming until my senior year of college on my internship. So my internship, I moved out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin by myself. I actually lived with this. So it's an Airbnb I did for 6 months with this sweet lady who lived above me. She was Italian, and she treated me like her grandson. Like she would be like, "Hey, I made extra food. Do you want some?" I'm like, absolutely. And it was like fresh pasta, fresh bread, cookies, like. She's like, well, I'm used to cooking for 8 and I have so much food. I'm like, I'll take all the food. Absolutely. Give it here. She was super nice. But I started streaming then because so my hours were 12 to 8. And then after I'd get home like 8:30 and then I'd stream from like 8:30 to 4 every day. I just did every day. I didn't do anything else. Like I was just streaming. I didn't have any social medias. I just streamed. I was just like, I'm streaming. Let's do it. I played that. I started streaming Far Cry 5. That was my first game I ever streamed.
Still a good game.
It was really fun. I never knew what was going on. I didn't play very long, but then I switched over to League because I was big into League. And then Mia also played League, so we just played together, but I'd also stream it. And looking back, like when you first started out streaming, I streamed every day, but I didn't have like a Twitter, any other social media. I just live streamed. I never had anyone watching me, right? Never. 0 people. I'm on the bottom of a game where however many people were watching, like hundreds of thousands, like 200, 300,000 people watch at once or whatever, how many people are streaming it. So of course no one's going to see you, right? I understand that. I was like, I've been streaming every day for like past 3 months. Like what? No one's even watching me. Yeah. I'm like, what is this? It was like 3 to 4 hours a day, but I mean, because I had nothing else to do. I mean, I moved to a random city with no friends, nothing. Like I just had this little space, and that's kind of how it started. And then I kind of swapped out games. I get burnt out of games. I mean, I feel like, there's people like, I don't know how people like Nick Merckx just plays Call of Duty 24/7. I'm like, how do you not get bored of Call of Duty? For me, anyways, that's just me. I mean, once you find a game like that, that's great. But I'm just like, there's no way I have to mix it up. Well, yeah, that is true. If I was making a lot of money, I'd be like, all right, I guess. I mean, I don't know. For a while, it's just kind of, it was really fun for a while. And then you kind of get into like, okay, I kind of want to do this outside of my job. And then I kind of started taking it more like a job in a way. I started networking, kind of got a little, I'm still obviously a really small streamer. but that's kind of how it started. And then I kind of swapped over into, like I said, several different games and kind of stuff like that. And obviously got newer equipment as time got on. Like I had one computer and I was like looking at chat on my phone. I had one computer and I had to like switch in between to make sure everything was going. It was bad. Like I have 3 monitors now and I'm like, how did I do this? How did I do this on one? Like I envy you if you're doing it on one right now. Like that's awesome. Continue thriving that way. But I gave up. I was like, I need a change. More efficient this way.
You're always an unsung hero if you're out there streaming and you're reading chat off your phone. That means you're a hero. You're out there doing the Lord's work.
You're
Hey,
making
but it was
work.
like one chat message every other day. So I mean, it wasn't very much
But
work.
that's the thing though. You're dedicated to it. You're still looking at that phone screen. You're still checking up on it.
That's
That's
true.
what I'm
That's
saying,
true.
like-
That's true.
That's hard.
You're like thinking, how could this be easier? And I don't have to spend any money. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I guess use this as a promo time, kind of promote where you're at now, what you're doing now, where people can find you.
So mainly I'm on Twitter. I tweet a lot. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of overboard, but I kind of just tweet my thoughts and have fun with it. But that's all my socials are going to be the TZ, which is TheeTeezee. That's mainly all that's on my Twitter, my Twitch, my YouTube, all that stuff. Now for Twitter, that's mainly right now. Mainly it's just RuneScape stuff because that's the game I've been playing a lot recently. So if you're into RuneScape, you'll probably be more prone to watch me, honestly. But I do play other games. Like I've been in. I keep mispronouncing this, but like Genshin Impact.
Genshin
Is that how you say
Impact.
it?
Mhm.
Genshin Impact. That's a fun game. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's really fun. I'm also, like I said, Twitch as well and YouTube. So I just started a YouTube about 2 months ago. I try to post a video every Sunday, but I've been slacking. I've been at weddings. Like there's a bunch of stuff. It gets in the way sometimes, but I've tried to be more consistent in it. But basically, I just talk about life and kind of that's where you're gonna find most of my backstory. Just kind of what I learned. I mean, I feel like I learned a lot about life at such a young age that most people. I feel like I have an old soul, so like I learned things that a lot of people learn when they're a little older. Like honestly, don't. My biggest take from things I've learned is at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is yours about you. Like, so, even when I was younger, people were telling me what to do. And I'm like, why do I have to do that? I never understood why I had to do what they're telling me to do. And well, that's just what society is. I'm like, well, society sounds like it's crap. Like, why do I want to do that? Like, I don't want to spend all this time sitting here studying a subject that I don't really want to be in. Because at 18, how the heck are you supposed to know what you want to do at your 18? They're like, hey, go to college. I'm like, do I need to? I mean, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I went to college. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not mad I went to college. But like, when they tell you, like, you buy a textbook and it's $300 and you try to return it, they're like, oh, yeah, we can give you $10 back because that book's out of date. I'm like, okay, so what was the point of the class? If all this information in this book is out of date that you made me read and study and learn and test on it, it's all out of date. That makes no sense to me. So what do you mean? Like, am I going to get a free book for the next course that I could relook into? No. Oh, of course not. So I kept my books because I'm like, F that. I'm not giving you $10. I don't want your $10, So that confused me. Like, there's so many things I just look back. I'm like, I'm just confused. Like, why? Like, what, like, I obviously have a good education, but I mean, in today's society, how much stuff you can learn online, same stuff, but you have to have that piece of paper. You have to actually graduate from a place. Why? Like, for example, so my major was exercise science, and I learned quite a bit about the human body and stuff. So the way people do blood pressure, I learned how to do blood pressure and skin fold testing to test for like BMI and all that stuff. And then I go to my internship and like, yeah, we do it this way here. I'm like, oh, okay. So they taught me it their way, which is fine. But it's like, so I spent all this time and weeks learning how to do this, and then it's just different where I go. So basically, why not just give someone a job for something they think they're interested in, teach them how you're going to teach them anyways, and then in 4 years, you have a pretty good employee. Instead of making them go to school, and then say, oh, we can't accept you. You don't have enough years of experience. Like, okay, that's great. So it's just like I feel like I learned all this at a young age. So now I think for content creation wise, I'm just gonna do what I want to do, and if like I'm not gonna really worry as much. For me, numbers to me aren't as important right now because I'm still a smaller streamer. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people like I have other friends who stream and they're just like, oh, I haven't got a follower for 3 days. Like, what am I doing wrong? I'm like, dude, you're not doing anything wrong. Like high school just started for most people, so your numbers are probably gonna be lower. Um, and all that stuff. There's a lot of factors. Like people can't come to your stream every day. They have lives outside of your stream. It's like, yeah, you have like people who are there a lot, and then sometimes they leave for a while and they come back. Like it's just like a roller coaster. So like the more you look at the numbers, like for me anyways, this isn't everybody, but for me, it's mentally draining because you're like you look over and you're like, oh, I'm talking to one person. Well, now you're just like that person's gonna leave because now they see your mood just flipped all of a sudden. So I was telling Moths and JRinkz, I just pretend there's 50,000 people in there and just go. Because a lot of people, they're like, wow, you have great energy. I'm like, I have to. It's not more I have to, but it's just I do. I just get excited about everything. But that's kind of how I look at content creation for me anyways. But for my YouTube, like I said, it's just more motivational life. It's not really advice because it's all my opinion, but it's also advice that I think people could possibly change how you think. I know I'm going to get that person soon. They're like, that's stupid advice, but it's my opinion. So if you could take it or leave it. And if people are going to be negative no matter what you do, so you could say the sky is blue and someone's still going to argue with you. What about at night? It's like, okay, sure, it's not blue at night. I don't know. You know what I mean? No matter what you say, someone's always going to say something. So like I said, I learned that at a young age, like your opinion about you is what really matters. It should be you against you, not you against someone else. Like also don't compete with people. Like you should want your friends to succeed, right? So if you're not wanting your friends to succeed, are you really their friend? Like you should be upping your friends. Like don't sit there like, this guy has 17 more viewers than me. It's like go in there, hype up the chat, do something for him. Like don't sit there and complain. Like that's gonna do nothing for you. Like if you're doing that to your I like quotation friends. If you're doing that to your friends, you're not really your friends, And then pay attention to those around you too. That's kind of what I did, and that's kind of how I came to be where I am today.
Okay, I guess the last thing kind of
rambled on for a while. Plans for the future. Okay, so
content creation.
So plans for the future for content creation. So it's tough. So I want to make an Instagram. I've had Instagram in the past, but I feel like I was on it just to scroll. Like I wasn't really using it as a tool. So social media for me now is how can I use it as a tool to help push a brand or grow content? So when I find myself scrolling on social media, it's like, okay, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing with social media. I mean, looking up your friends and stuff, that's awesome. Like look and see what they're doing and stuff, keep in touch with that. Next thing you know, you're gonna go down some rabbit hole and you're just like, look at your phone or whatever. You're like, holy crap, 3 hours went by. I've done nothing. So I want to use Instagram as a tool, but I kind of think it's cool to learn all the algorithms. So you know when to post and what people are interested in and all that stuff. But for like Twitch, keep streaming on Twitch as much as I can. Always trying to find new games to play as well, just so I don't kind of feel like that stuck moment. I don't know why I get like that. I don't know. Like you just feel like you're stuck for whatever reason. But keep doing that, and like I said, keep making YouTube videos. This podcast, I am very excited about this podcast. Like when Moths came to me, and when it was just like, dude, I've always wanted to start a podcast. I've also always wanted to start a podcast. And then, all I said was like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Best advice I could ever give anybody. Again, I say this. I feel like I say the best advice that I could give somebody, and I give a piece of advice and then I say it again. But just do it. I mean, Nike, you hear it all the time. Just do it. If I could coin that phrase, I would. But obviously can't. Get my own little like janky swoosh under my just do it.
We already got sued. We just got sued.
I'm not sponsored. I'm not sponsored by Nike. I'm not sponsored by Nike. I'm not forced to say it. So that's kind of like my future plans. Just keep streaming, keep kind of going with there. I think overall, I do want to be a speaker. I think at the end of everything, I do want to be some kind of speaker. I feel like more more in the ways of like motivational than just like speaking about topics. Like I want to be informational too, but I want to figure I feel like that's the best route I could do for me to provide value in something for people. Because that's what I'm looking at right now. Am I providing value? What kind of value am I providing? Entertainment, which is good, but that's everyone's go-to. Like what makes you different? I think I could talk. I think I could talk to people really well. I find common ground. I just talk and we just have a good time. I have a lot of people tell me they're like I just meet people and they're like I feel like we've met before. I'm like haven't met you till right now. You know, like I'm very good with carrying conversations. So I feel like being a speaker, if I already have the mentality of I'm talking to 50,000 people, but I can't see the people, you know, like you can see the number, but just going out on stage and just seeing people, I feel like would just give me like this energy. This like, okay, either like you're gonna freak out and be nervous, or you just have this big energy and you'll be like, oh my gosh, look, this is go time. This is it. This is my moment. Opportunities don't come very often.
It's the knot in the
As
stomach.
if you need more energy.
Hey, I'm a ball of energy. Sometimes I feel like I could. Sometimes I feel like I could have a little more energy. Well, just a little. Just a teeny bit. But then I have people like, bro, calm down. I'm like, no. Have you ever told someone, Moss, like you're in stream, you're like, hey man, this is my stream. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Enlightening. Like, hey, can you play this game? No. No.
Can you listen to this song? Can you play this song? Nope.
So some song requests are nice because they're actually good songs, but then you get the trolls and it's like
I don't listen to DMCA-able music, so not me.
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Oh, did you this is kind of off topic, but did you know that there's a way to mute your music for your VOD?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing that?
Nope.
Fair. I watch my VOD, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is bad. There's no
because
music.
it's hard to clip things. I like to be able to clip things so I can go back, find them, and get clips for social media.
I never thought about
otherwise
that.
it's
Yeah, because
nothing in the background.
or if you clip things too while you're live, it's gonna have the music in it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a gun.
Well, that
No,
plot
that's
was
where
ruined.
that's where a majority of DMCA strikes are from clips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my I was following this guy on Twitter, and all of a sudden he's like, "Wow, I got my Twitter's disabled, and I had a clip from 6 years ago." Like, what?
Twitter's slow on it.
6 years ago? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. They're just like, "Yeah, see ya, boom, no warning, never had any strikes from anything." Just, you know what? I might have to turn that back on because you're right on that. You're right on that.
I mean,
Don't-
I get
don't-
it when you're small. It's not going to affect you when you're live streaming, but I'm trying to think more of the outside platform. When you post on YouTube or Twitter, they're big on YouTube. I realized this the other day. I added a sound to my TikTok, and then I just posted the TikTok on YouTube, and I had literally 1% volume, so you couldn't even hear it. Somehow YouTube picked it up. It was kind of crazy.
And they're like, "Hey, this is DMC."
And it said you can't use this sound in certain countries because it was an approved sound, but it was only approved for certain areas. So that YouTube short got limited to who could see it.
YouTube and Facebook go extremely hard on the DMCA's on even on those little clips.
Mhm.
Like,
Copyright stuff.
What
They
are
have a
your
good system to find it.
What are your guys' thoughts on like Facebook gaming?
I
I
honestly
think it
haven't.
could be good, but it's not the same demographic as other streaming platforms. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I was looking into it. I'm like, dang, like, might not be a bad place. And I'm like, I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't know. I'm trying to delete my Facebook, and it's so hard to delete your Facebook.
Yeah.
They're like, are you sure? You click, you're like, delete. And they're like, are you sure you want to delete your Facebook? Yes. But you'll lose all these cool features. Don't care. But are you really, really sure you want to delete your Facebook? Yes. All your pictures are going to be gone. It's like, just let me delete my Facebook. Like, jeez. I think I clicked.
To your house.
The lizard people
I
are
think I
on their
click-
way.
But then here's how they get you. So I have Facebook Messenger. If I delete my Facebook, I can't log into my Messenger.
Hmm?
I mean, I have family I talk to through Messenger. So I disabled my Facebook. But they're like, if you log back in, you re-enable it. I'm like, that's so dumb. Stop. Just get away. And then you get ads like, hey, this person's trying to tag in Facebook. You should check it out. It's like, oh, I see what you're doing there. No, I hate it. It's like, get me out of here. But I should just delete it. But are you sure? Really sure? Like, really? I don't think you want to leave quite yet. That's how I feel like they're trying to snag you in.
I think, I don't know, when it comes to Facebook, as in Facebook gaming, I think they have very good incentives for small streamers and getting people off the ground. I don't know necessarily how built for the long term it is.
Kind of like what Mixer did.
Yeah, well, Mixer wasn't even as incentive based as Facebook. Facebook is very much, they will promote you more if you're smaller and you're streaming consistently. Until for the next 2 years, you get 100% ad revenue. So if someone is a subscriber, I don't necessarily know what they use, you get 100% of that instead of where Twitch is 50-50.
Right.
Until I think it's until next year, I believe, until 2022, newer streamers get 100%.
What happens after that?
I don't
Goes
know.
back to whatever their regular
No one
contract
knows
was. Probably
what happens after that, because it's, I don't know. That's a lot of
that's
things.
their move.
I don't look into it, so I guess I don't know.
As much as like Twitch is like with this whole hate raid stuff, it's very hard to, I don't know, like Dr. Disrespect was talking about how he was buried by Minecraft streamers. You know, like even though how popular he is, he's like, well, people are watching
That's
Minecraft.
YouTube. That's
Right,
YouTube.
right. And then you have Tim going to YouTube. Like I'm just like, whoa, it's crazy. I don't think I'm gonna go.
I don't think Tim ever would have left if it wasn't for a massive contract. I don't think he would ever left.
Well,
If it comes
exactly.
to, if it came down to even a smaller contract, I think YouTube threw them insane amount of money.
Yeah.
Him and Lupo, because Lupo was the only one that talked about it a little bit. What I saw, he said it set up his family for the rest of his life. So it's something where I think they got an insane amount of money, and they already have so much content on YouTube. It makes sense.
Yeah.
What? And then everyone's gonna be like, oh, everyone's gonna go to YouTube. Let's go to YouTube, and they're gonna realize, this didn't
smart on
change for me.
YouTube's part. It's gonna get people to switch, but
It's not gonna.
you're starting over.
It doesn't mean it's gonna work instantly.
Right,
Like,
right.
There's still
Right.
people on there that are already established. There's
I think YouTube streaming has a bright future. They
Mhm.
still have a lot of stuff they need to work on. They've added a lot of stuff. You can't gift. You can't gift
Nope.
memberships like
sadly.
you can gift subs. They just recently added, like, you couldn't raid people before. You couldn't send your viewers to another streamer.
What?
I don't.
For a long time, you were unable to do
Do
that.
they-
You can
did
now.
they just put that
they
in?
added that. They added that recently, is from what I saw. I guess I have never been a part of it. I'm not someone who ever was big on watching a lot of streamers on YouTube, so
Me either.
it's
No,
something
me
where
either.
I think within a couple of years it'll become a lot more. People will be on there, and I'll probably myself end up watching more. Just Tim being over there will get me to watch probably more. I watch here and there, like Courage and stuff, but I don't know.
Do
Twitch is
you
still,
think you'll ever personally stream on YouTube?
I don't know. The community through Twitch is just kind of unmatched because it's been around forever, and just the UI and just using Twitch is always so nice.
Well,
Well,
so for me,
I don't ever see it change happening unless something happens. You never know. You never know.
For me, everyone's like, oh, Twitch is so toxic. Twitch is this, Twitch is that. And then for me, it's like, I never experienced much toxicity.
It's
Like, I know there's two sides to everything. Like, and I feel like and this is, I don't know, for me, it's like, that's how I wanted my community from the start. Like, it's like, I don't want anyone toxic. So if you're toxic,
Mhm.
like, I'm not afraid to just be like, see ya, you know? So I'm surrounding myself with all those people who are like that. And it's like, well, I never see anything toxic with Twitch, but obviously
Yeah.
the hate
It's
raids and
still-
stuff are
Also,
toxic.
it
Just 'cause-
also helps with, like, you're playing more of a relaxed game, like you said. You're not
Right.
necessarily playing where I could see if you're bigger when it gets into Call of Duty, it's going to be toxic. Call of Duty is just known for being toxic.
Right.
Some viewers can be great, some viewers aren't. That's just kind of such as life.
And
But
that's honestly most games, because we're not even talking about the game at that point. We're talking about the people.
yeah,
Oh, that's very fair. Yeah, that's very fair. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
and it's like you said, as long as you're building your community to be not that way, I think you generally will experience less of that. I would say myself very similar. I am very try to stay very anti rage, anti getting toxic, doing anything toxic, and if anyone does anything even a little toxic, I'm like, hey, no, nope, don't need that. And if anyone comes in bringing super toxic energy, gone. We don't need that.
Absolutely.
There's a difference between banter and like talking shit with someone and just being disrespectful and just straight up insulting them, like just being an asshole.
Mhm.
There's a huge difference. And a lot of people can't see it most of the time.
Yeah, like this guy's being really rude, and you're like, well, that's they're just like
And it's also
teasing each
different
other
if
in a
you
way, I don't
know if you know the people and they're there. People that you know are there every day and they're not generally not toxic. So you throw a little banter here and there, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Right.
if you're a newer viewer on Twitch, it's kind of hard to come in. You gotta get to know someone first before you can just come in and start shit talking, because that comes off as toxic.
Hey, X16960ZZXP. Oh,
I guess I
you
will
said
go fuck
that.
myself.
Okay.
Come in just saying you suck at this game. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Like that's
Hi.
perfect
Oh my
example.
gosh.
Someone that's in here every single day and you start struggling and they're just like, you're trash, just joking. You'll be able to tell if someone comes in, you've never said a word, not even following, and they're like, you're trash. It's a lot different.
Mhm.
I've gotten to the point. I'm like, hey man, there's like a billion people streaming this game. Go find someone else. Like it's like I never once. I've never once joined someone just to be like, you're trash. Like I've never felt the need to do that. You know, never once have I been like, I need to trash out this person right now.
No.
It's just me
No.
though. Obviously,
The other
everyone's
thing
different,
is,
but
those people generally they have nothing on their account. I don't have fake accounts. I'm going in, so if I went in being toxic, they click in. I have all of this live stream in the past, and they can find my social media because
it's on there.
Yeah, there's no reason to be toxic because it comes back to me where people are trying to be toxic on accounts that have no way. They made the account 3 days ago.
Their burner account.
They're just going in. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get around different things. I guess one thing I would like to add though for future stuff, just take it one day at a time too, because like you said, who knows what's gonna happen in the future, like for YouTube or Twitch or whatever. I would like to do this full time eventually, and there's a lot of times I think I need to take it more serious. But I like to have a good time too. But people tell me that treat it like a job, which yeah, you should in some ways. But if I treat it like a job though, like I just feel like I'm not gonna like it after a while. That's what happens to me. It's like I'm working a job, but then all of a sudden it's like all this stuff builds up, and it's like, okay, this is actually like very annoying. Like I'm not having fun anymore, kind of thing. So for streaming, obviously, you do got. I feel like to some extent, take it like a job, but have fun too. Like don't, I feel like a lot of people get burnt out doing that. They're like, another 8-hour day.
I guess you have to. When I think of treat it like a job, it's the show up when you're supposed to. Like if you have,
on time.
if you're don't be consistent. A job, you're not gonna show up to work one time a week, and then next week you're gonna show up 5 times when you're normally going 5 times a week without plans. Like I get it, you have vacation and stuff like that. You're not gonna just not do it because you don't want to. Like that's kind of where I think of.
Well, and with streaming,
I get it. Stuff happens. You want days off and stuff like that. That's the same with work. You need days off. You're sick. If you got vacation, that's kind of where I think of as a job.
Well, and with streaming, there's really no shortcuts. At work, like you're like, oh, I don't have to do this right now because someone else will do it. The next person will do it, or it doesn't affect me. That's the worst thing about my current job. I get a phone call. And normally when you give a phone call, like transferring someone to, you say, hey, this is blah, blah. I'm from this area. This is who I have. We can look them up in our system so you know more about what's going on. But no, people just call and then they so you can like conference the call. So then you're with both people and then they talk and then they come in or whatever. But no, they just hang up. So then you're just like, hey, and now you're just stuck with the person. And I hate that. It's like they just want to get rid of the person onto somebody else. I'm like, why do that? Just tell me what's going on so I know, and then I can better help the person rather than me like having them to explain themselves 10 times. Because a lot of times it's not even the right area again. So I'm like, oh, I have to transfer you somewhere else. And then now they're mad and all sorts of stuff. But with streaming, like you have to go live eventually. Otherwise, you're not like it depends.
Otherwise
Like if
you're
you're
not
doing YouTube,
streaming.
it's different. But like, yeah, you can't really shortcut it in a way. Like the only way I could think is like obviously pay someone to edit your videos, and you're not editing the videos, but that's not even really a shortcut. But
That's just treat it as if you're your own business owner.
exactly,
Where you're not going to grow if you're not putting in the work.
exactly.
And kind of like you said, with the paying someone, that's hiring an employee.
Yeah,
So
I never
it's-
thought about
it's
it that
very
way either.
much
That's actually really good.
thinking of it that way.
That's yeah. I never thought about it that way.
But
Yeah, no,
kinda-
that's good. I never thought about
Kinda
that
how
way.
it
Yeah,
is.
you're
It is.
That's
It is
exactly
that's
what
what
you're
it
doing.
is.
You're hiring an editor.
Yeah. It's just like if you were to start any business, you're not going to get anywhere without putting in the time, putting in the work, doing the networking, doing all that stuff.
CEO isn't going to be the cashier.
They may be when they start, but
Yeah, but not.
eventually you'll get to a point where you're hiring people. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be cool to like that's kind of why I like streaming too. Like it's your own thing. And
you
It's-
are the
it-
boss.
right. And at the start, I mean, you don't need all the fancy equipment to start. You could start with nothing pretty much. You just need a computer.
I
Just
started
a
on my
console.
Xbox with literally just a laptop next to me so I could reach chat. So you got to start somewhere.
Phone and
Yeah.
an Xbox. That was it.
Trying to figure out ways to set up your phone so you get like creative, like putting all these weird things together, like to
Well-
hold up your phone.
Well, and like back then, we were like, we didn't have webcams. We were just it was just strictly gameplay and voice chat.
And that's definitely something we'll touch on the next couple episodes with me and JRinkz's backstory for sure too.
Oh,
I
you
think
guys
we
actually
both started very similar.
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. I didn't know that.
That and
I started and I had a webcam, so I was like sometimes I want to stream without a webcam though, because I feel like if I'm like feeling tired or something, but I feel like it's
can't
more
do it.
personable.
Because I know when I watch streams, I find it hard to click on people that don't have cameras because the interaction and the getting more personable.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Just kind of like I'd rather talk to someone in person than talk to them over the phone. It's very similar. You get that interaction.
100%. 100%. I hate phone calls. Oh,
Mhm.
quickly before I forget, like my did you see that TikTok where they're like talking to their kid and they're like, "Hey, how would you answer a phone call?" And he's like,
Oh, I did. Yeah.
and then goes to the
And all
husband
the
and he's
young
like,
kids go like this, and then yep. That was like that's how you know if you're it's like
If you're
a
old,
certain timeline.
If you pick up the phone,
"Yeah."
this is
Oh,
your
people are like
phone.
this.
all the young kids are so used to holding a phone, so that's how they. Yeah, I've seen that before. It's pretty funny.
I was like,
Never.
"No more bananas are ever going to be used as
Oh,
phones."
always. If I was fake playing this, yeah, hello, always.
They're like, this to me is a walkie-talkie, like like a little walkie-talkie. Apparently, it's phones now.
I
And
guess
2 grants.
if that's all we got for this one, until next time, if you can follow all of our social medias, we got YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. I have not posted on the TikTok yet. The plan is now that we'll have our first episodes starting to come out, I'll be posting clips and just anything else I can find. It may not be super consistent every single day on TikTok as I am with my own. I will try to get it as much as possible if I think something is funny or I find anything else worth posting. I may make your JRinkz post some stuff for us, like anything I think they might can contribute. So
I can be funny
But
sometimes.
on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, our account name is T and Moss Pod. Very much exactly how it is spelled on all of the episodes. If you're listening to this, you'll see T and Moss. So it's T and Moss Pod. Very small account, but we'll work on it. Just kind of will work on podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you're watching or listening, I would like, subscribe, download the episode, rate. If we get any 5-star reviews, I think this is going to save it for JRinkz. We'll let JRinkz read some reviews.
They will be read. They will be read during the shows.
That's something JRinkz very much wants to do. I'm going to let him read them. He can read and respond. So if you are listening on whether it's Apple or Spotify, leave us a rating. 5 stars, and JRinkz will read them. Until next time.
Bye.
I don't